Last time on the Just Create SMP, I completely reset my workshop to fix issues I was having with frog ports. Like these issues here that only occur because my power is off. Turn it on. Oh, really, Mr. Beardstone? Again? Anyway, as well as that, I actually successfully convinced both Chosen and Stam that my horse was indeed responsible for all of the IOUs on the server.
I've been bamboozled.
But
And this time, what I'll be doing is saving my island from the inevitable flood by making the entire thing fly, which is going to be tricky. So we're going to have to come up with a cunning plan. But meanwhile, in doing cunning plans, it appears my horse is still working for Stam, and yeah, it appears that the power is completely off again, but that's probably less to do with Mr. Beardstone actually breaking the power system, and more likely the fact that this lamp has gone off, signifying I've got no tokens left. But I do have more tokens for the power system because I bought them. The problem is, though, they're inside my storage system, which I can't access. Power tokens. I've got another stack and a bit's worth there. I had 4 stacks worth. Right, well, I am going to buy a load just because I don't want to come back when I need it and then there not be any. I bought 4 stacks from Mr. Beardstone. I absolutely have not put those in the system. But yes, now I have to play with these frogs in order to try and get the things out that that's granite. I don't need granite. That's granite. I don't need granite. That's sand. I don't need sand. That's red sand. I don't need red sand. That's more granite. More sand. More granite. Spruce logs. More spruce logs. Stripped spruce logs. Iron ingots. Power tokens. Ha! At last. Right. Okay. So let's just pop those onto the floor and break that. Let's shove all of those inside of that frog and he can deal with those, and let's go and get our power back on so that I can turn my base on once again and actually get processing all the things I need. Let's just throw those into the hatch there. The light comes on, then I press the button. Hopefully the power will turn on. It did, and we're in business again. This is excellent news, and all of the packages are now actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, and I can get on with making this island fly. Before I start making my island fly, however, there is another couple of things I need to do. Mainly actually getting some ingots, because my system decided to turn all of my ingots into sheet, and the easiest way to do that, of course, is by doing something really boring. Stop making tunnel bore joke. Sorry, I can't help it. The level we're going to be mining is this level here. Why am I mining at level 13? Well, it's a good level for all of the things I need. Copper, iron, lapis, coal, more copper. You see, there's lots of things. Maybe even some gold if I'm lucky. I am going to use some cheaty free cam, even though a lot of you online don't like it, but that's just to make sure I don't push my tunnel bore into someone else's base or things, and it appears at this level here that I'm not going to affect anything at all. But you see, if I went over in that direction over there, I'm going to suddenly hit that ladder, which is someone else's base. So free cam is very important to us to make sure we don't destroy anything we're not supposed to. As usual, I set my tunnel bore off, letting it chew through all of the stone, spitting out all of that nasty cobble stuff that clogs up my chests, and after just a couple of strips, it was already full. Well, just from that very first bit that I've done, I've already amassed a whole bunch of resources, loads of dirt and coal, loads of gravel, loads and loads of copper, and a few bits and bobs. I also got tons of granite, tons of diorite, and an absolute ton of andesite. And I'm not even finished yet. I think if I had smart chutes there instead of normal chutes, this would go a lot quicker. I don't have any electron tubes. I do have one, and that will make things a little bit quicker. Oh yes, that's much quicker. And now that all of my shulker boxes are empty, I can go back and do it again. But before I do anything down here at all, right over here, there are some more of those lovely, lovely diamonds, which I use my Silk Touch pickaxe to get, and these are going in my starter base to add to my incredibly fancy floor. Oh, lovely, lovely. I've even got a spare one for the door there. Look, lovely. Oh, look at this lovely diamond floor. With my new shiny floor in place, I set the tunnel bar off again, mining through a couple more strips of the underground until it was once again full of shinies, emptied it out, and then went to see Mr. Beardstone about my missing tokens. Mr. Beardstone! Mr. Beardstone! Mr. Beardstone!
Oh, here we go. This again. Hello, Foxy.
I have some bad news, bud.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know your power tokens?
Yeah.
Do you remember the other day I came to see Jimmy with you and I bought 4 stacks of tokens and then you gave me 5 compensation tokens, yeah? Well, I don't know how, because my vault is now locked, but when I went to get some more this morning, because my initial 64 free tokens finally ran out, I only had 1 stack and 5 compensation tokens.
Right, so what you're telling me is you've lost a few stacks of tokens.
I haven't lost them. They were in my storage. Do you want to help me come find them? See if they're there? You owe me some more, by the way. But
do you mean they are in your storage, but because they're in your storage, you can't get them?
No, I can't find them. They're not in my storage. I bought 4 stacks.
Well, I haven't taken them.
Well, come help me have a look. See if you can find them anywhere, because I can't find them, and you owe me some more.
Whee!
So I would have thought if I would have put them not in my storage, they would be in here, and they're definitely not in there. They're not in any of my shulker boxes, and in my storage system, unless they've gone into a different category, which I don't think they have.
Just search at the top for paper.
Okay. Yeah, I have 6 paper. You want to have a look?
No, I mean, I believe you that you've lost them, yeah.
So 3 stacks have mysteriously gone missing, and
right.
yeah, so I'm now 3 diamonds short, Mr. Beardstone. So you've either sold me paper that just sort of like biodegradable paper or something, or someone's pinched some.
Well, I doubt anyone would have pinched them because the only other person on the system is Chosen.
Right.
And he bought like 4 stacks as well. So.
Huh. Well, do you want to check, see if they're in the sneaky barrel?
I will have a little look in the sneaky back room. I didn't bring my pass card again though, so you know what that means. Smashy time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which would have been a much quicker thing to do last time instead of destroying that and asking you for a button. But hey, let's not talk about details here. Right, you have 1 stack in here.
Yeah, so definitely 3 stacks have gone missing because I put my other new power tokens in the barrel. So there's 63 and 5 in there. So there is a thief among us, Mr. Beardstone, or you're selling dodgy paper.
Well, I'm not selling dodgy paper. I assure you that much. It sounds to me like you've just misplaced them. They're going to turn up randomly somewhere.
How can I? That's all the storage I have, unless they're upstairs.
I literally have no idea, Foxy. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, complaining to the power company that you've lost your tokens isn't really.
I paid for power and I haven't got it. That's what I'm complaining about.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, Foxy.
Considering the state of the power has not been great, and I've only received 5 hours of tokens.
I think you'll find it's been running for like 5 days with no problems.
I haven't been here for 5 days.
Oh, weird that, isn't it? not saying that's related, Foxy, but weird that.
Well, what am I going to do? Not convinced that Mr. Beardstone wasn't stealing back the tokens I'd bought from him. I had an idea to prove they were in fact stolen.
I mean, I owe you compensation anyway. I don't know what to tell you about your stolen tokens. It sounds to me like you just need to buy more tokens. But I assure you, I have not taken any tokens.
So I'm just going to have a look.
I'm still upstairs.
With a bit of cheaty free cam underneath my vaults, because the only way of getting stuff out of my storage now, because it's locked, and I'm pretty sure you've been in here with a filtered thingy sucking out the power tokens out of my vaults.
I mean, I assure you, Foxy, I haven't. Like, I've literally got no need to do that. I can just make more. Why would I steal yours?
So where have they gone then?
I don't know, Foxy. I literally don't know what to tell you. Haven't you had loads of problems with your storage and stuff spinning around all over the place?
Well, yeah, but the power tokens wouldn't have been in that because it's only stuff that was trying to get sent to somewhere that couldn't because the chunks were unloaded. It's fine now that I turn it off every night when I leave and I turn it on again when I come back, and it's been fine.
Once again, don't know what to say. Don't know what to tell you about your tokens. Don't know what to tell you about your storage. Happy I could be of help. Let me know if you've got any other problems.
What help were you?
Okay, I gave you a stack of. I just gave you 2.5 days power because I do owe you a reasonable amount of compensation. So yeah.
I paid for 3 full stacks of power, Mr. Beardstone, and I'm not getting them. This is not acceptable.
You shouldn't have lost them.
They were in my storage. Wow. Dodgy power company stealing back the tokens that you sell. I understand. I bet you sent Jimmy out collecting them all.
I mean, it could be Jimmy. He is a pillager after all. It's kind of what he does.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that. Go and have a word with Jimmy, but I assure you it wasn't me.
Right. Slightly put out that the power company wasn't going to reimburse me, I bored out another strip of the underground, emptied everything out into the storage system again, and began to process all of the new shinies, as well as stocking up on a few create bits, mainly brass and rose quartz, which for some reason made me realise exactly where my power tokens had been going. The create bits I needed to stock up on were mainly andesite alloy, brass, and rose quartz. And the rose quartz, for some reason, made me realize exactly where my power tokens had been going. Mr. Beardstone.
What's up?
Well, you see what I'm doing at the moment?
Yes, there is a better way.
Yeah, I know there's a better way, but I think I might know where my power tokens have gone.
Have you turned them all into sandpaper?
I may have turned them all into sandpaper or rockets. You see, I think you need to change your maybe power tokens to something that's not paper, because the machine doesn't know the difference between paper and power tokens, and it just takes them out and crafts the things that you've asked it to craft. So I think it might be worthwhile having a different item that won't craft into things, ideally, would be nice.
You idiot. Yeah, I'll look into that. So yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Jeez.
Oh, what an idiot.
Despite all of his laughing at me, Mr. Beardstone did come back with a little sympathy at least.
All right, there you go, Foxy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Beardstone.
But yeah, it's to replace the ones that you crafted into rockets, because that wasn't your fault, so I'll let you off.
Thank you. I do appreciate that. And yeah, I look forward to a different type of power token in the future. Maybe you could use, you know, baked potatoes or something instead. So what I'm now going to do is put these power tokens back into my storage system. There they are, just here. And then I'm going to tell my storage system to craft me up some sandpaper. And can you see the power tokens are going down? Because it wants to use power tokens to craft the sandpaper instead of the paper that I've got. Because frogs are stupid. With my compensation safely stored and all of my resources restocked, it was finally time to make my island fly. And there's a couple of ways that we could do that. So I suppose the best thing I should do is take a download of this world so we can fiddle about in creative and see if either of the ways I'm thinking of doing that are even possible. So, let's do this. And here we are, in a perfectly fresh world download taken from literally right now, so everything is exactly as it was. And the two ways I'm thinking of doing this both require a lot of glue. The first would be to glue it all together and see if we can push it up into the sky with a mechanical piston. And failing that, if that doesn't work, which I'm a little bit concerned it won't because there's a lot to push here, the alternative is to turn it into a schematic and then just basically build a brand new one in the sky and then get rid of this one, which of course requires absolutely no glue at all, so I don't know why I said that. Firstly, I want to just get a little bit of the island because I don't want to try the whole thing, so I'm going to go under here and I'm basically just going to glue this bit of farmland together over here and see if we can at least lift this. So if I get rid of these bits of sand there, let's just make a bit of space underneath, pop a piston on there, give it a couple of extension poles, and then we're probably going to need a lot longer one than that. A few more there, and then just apply power to this. As you can see, it does lift the whole thing out of the ground, but that's relatively easy to do because it's just dirt and hay bales. What about if it's got crops on it, and more specifically animals? Oh yes, all of the crops just immediately pop off, but the animals seem to go up okay. That doesn't seem like a problem at all, apart from the ones that fell out. And that's a good sign, because I can easily replant the crops. It just means I should probably go and harvest them all first before we do this, otherwise that's going to be amazing amounts of lag as every single bit pops off. The question is, though, how much of this can I actually stick together and move in one go rather than doing little bits at a time? This is going to be an absolute nightmare, isn't it? Oh, geez. Yeah, this is literally going to be probably one of the worst things I've ever had to do. Well, there's an absolute ton of glue going on with this island now, but I'm pretty sure I've got everything above ground. But I'm not sure all of this is going to move together. Let's see if the entire thing moves. And it's not giving me any errors, but I'm going to assume there's just way too much stuff for it to move. So I don't think this is going to work. And that's good news for me, because gluing all of this in survival would be an absolute nightmare. As mentioned, the alternative to this is just to get myself a schematic and quill, I can then schematic the entire island very easily. And once I've got that, in creative it's nice and easy. I basically just click on that and go island. And then I can just save and upload that immediately. And then I can pop that back down. And we've basically got an entire copy of my island ready to just print into the world. Oh, we got the top of my tree farm. That might be an issue because that's going to flood. And we've got the elevator bits and bobs as well. So that's going to flood. So I'm going to have to be a little bit careful with how I do this. But I think this could work. Oh, and it takes the water. I don't think the schematic cannon will take the water. That could be a problem. Oh dear. Oh no, I'm sorry. You're only creative animals. You don't count. It's fine. Just to fall off. There you go. You're safe now. And there's really not all that much to actually collect other than dirt, which I've got plenty of. A bit of grass, which I can get. I think this will work great. So back here on the actual server then, I need to get my schematic stuff and see exactly how we're going to do this. So yeah, let's go and make a schematic of my island. How hard could it be? He says. It's not quite as easy as it looks doing this in survival. I probably should have just done it in creative. In fact, do you know what? Just to make sure I do this right, I'm going to do it in creative. Well, I'm now back on the server. I have an actual schematic of the island. So the first thing I'm going to do is put down my schematic cannon somewhere roughly in the middle. Stick a little table next to it. Put the empty schematic inside of there, and it's island real that I want. So let's just turn that into a printable schematic eventually. Sometime today would be good. Ideally before the morning, ideally before Christmas. Anytime you like. I'm ready. And there we go. We now have a printable schematic. Let's grab that. And now I need to decide where I'm actually going to put this thing. See, obviously I don't want it just on the floor there. We want it up in the sky. Oh, geez. We want it up in the sky. But how high in the sky do I want it? Let's go and fly over to somewhere high up so we can have a look. And hopefully it will be able to render from back here, and hopefully we'll be able to place it from back here. It does. I can do it from here. This is wonderful. It is taller than Chosen's power station-y thing. Yes, I like this height. Is it taller than Stam's castle? It's going to be difficult to judge it from here, but it is. It's the tallest thing on the server, but except maybe is it taller than the mountain? Realistically, you probably don't want it to be taller than the mountain anyway, but oh, I can't see it anymore. I don't need it to be taller than the mountain. I think where it is absolutely fine. Yep, it looks about right, left and right. It's very difficult to tell from this angle because my elevator shaft does need to line up perfectly with the one we've already got. Okay, so this is at 241 minus 350. If the front of my elevator lines up with this, then we're winning. If not, then we've got a problem. Okay, moving it about then, standing exactly where I need to stand. If I am here, that is perfectly in line with what we've got below. So if I actually had my elevator coming all the way up here, that is going to go all the way down, and we can just double check that with FreeCam. If I basically go directly below that and then just fly straight down, we should hit the elevator contact from there. And there it is. Yes, so that's lined up perfectly. Okay, let's pop the schematic into the schematic cannon, put in the clipboard and find out what we need. We're going to need a whole bunch of stuff. Well, I guess I'm going to be busy for a while collecting all of these resources, and there's one more thing that I could really do with that's going to make getting up and down there a lot easier in terms of building, because don't forget, I can't just leave it flat on the bottom. I'm going to have to make it look nice, and in order to build underneath it, I'm going to need something special. What is it? Oh, I'll tell you in a minute. I'm just going downstairs for no reason other than to start gathering materials, I guess. What is it? Hang on, mate. I need a jetpack. It's specifically a builder's jetpack, and in order to get that, I need a block of netherite, 2 more netherite, some wings, some echo shards, and that's not all, because these things need fuel and they burn through it quicker than you can say, oh my goodness, I think I'm about to run out of fuel. And the fuel costs coal, redstone, and gunpowder. Now, fortunately for me, I have a lot of charcoal, I have a lot of redstone, and surprisingly, thanks to Stam, I actually have a lot of gunpowder. So it seemed like I had just about everything I needed to make my jetpack, except for a couple of very difficult to get things. specifically Netherite and Echo Shards. Well, there's a couple of ways I can get those. First of all, I need to put those chests out of my inventory. I need to come here, grab myself a fresh batch of rockets, and grab myself some fresh food. Now that I've got golden carrots, potatoes, you're no good to me anymore. And now all I need to do is go down to my mining area underground, and I'm sure you've already guessed if you watched the last episode, because there just happens to be an ancient city right above where I've been mining. And this thing should be absolutely full of chests. So the Echo Shard shouldn't be a problem. They were. In fact, I spent quite a lot of time spawning wardens around the deep dark. Oh dear, have I set one off already? Just fly in. Oh dear. Oh no, I can't see. I'm going to die. Please don't go off. I'm staying very still. About round here, is anything in this little bit of the ancient city? Oh no, I didn't set one off. It wasn't me. It was Mr. Beardstone did it. That's a warden. Oh dear, that's a warden. I'm going. I can't see. I could fly into anything. Oh jeez, don't fly while you. Oh, there's two. There's another one here. No, no, absolutely not. No. And then I realized all of the chests had already been looted. Try another chest. Got to be one over here somewhere, surely. Books. I think these might have already been raided. Let's try these ones over here. Anything in these? No. No. Oh, jeez. Don't tell me they've already been totally taken. Another one. No. No. I can't see. Here, there is my hole. I am escaping. I am escaping. Ah, there's one up there. No. Out. Go. Shoo. I think I might need to come back for Echo Shards. That didn't go ever so well. Let's concentrate on Netherite. Netherite's easy. Of course, in order to get Netherite, I'm going to have to go to the Nether, and in order to do that, I'm going to have to make a couple of slight modifications to my mining machine. So let's just pop it down for a second. I actually want it properly down. Let's put that in lock rotation, and I just need to change this filter to say make bridges out of netherrack, so stop it falling in holes. So that's that sorted out. And I also want to add a netherrack onto these filters as well, so that the entire thing doesn't just fill with netherrack. And let's just throw those on there. There we go. Lovely. So that's the modifications made. So that's ready. So all I need to do is take it to the Nether. How hard could that be? Before I took it to the Nether, however, I thought it might be a good idea to get a little more protection on my armor. So I need my emeralds and I need things to trade. So before I actually go and get my emeralds, I believe Chosen's got a bunch of villagers, and hopefully we can go and see them and actually be able to generate a decent amount of emeralds. What can I sell to these guys? He's got a lot of chaps. Sticks, that's brilliant. Flint, that's good. And string, I've got wool. Yes, this is going to be ideal. Well, I've gathered a lot of stuff to trade, but I think I've just encountered a bug. You see, I called for 7,000 sticks from here. That's what I had in stock, and now I don't have any. And I asked for 4,000 flint as well. As you can see from these shulkers, I got plenty of flint, but I hardly got any sticks at all. I should have about 5 or 6 shulker boxes worth of sticks if they'd all come through, but they've all vanished. They're not in the system. They're not trying to go back in the system. They're not in the little frog behind the barrel. They've just gone, which is really frustrating because it's the sticks that I was going to be using more than anything else. So, guess I'm going to have to turn a whole bunch of wood into sticks, which is, yeah, very, very frustrating. After crafting a few shulkers of sticks, I spent a good 20 minutes or so trading all of them to the Fletchers, as well as all of the flint and a little bit of string, netting me almost 9 stacks of emeralds in return, which isn't actually too bad. That should buy me a decent amount of books. So I packed up all of my shulker boxes, headed back to my workshop to craft up a brand new set of diamond armor, and headed over to Stam's villagers in order to get some enchantments. So after a little enchanting, a little more trading, and a lot of anviling, I had a very nice set of armor. And there we go. We now have a very nice set of armor, which means I can take off all of this junk that I've been wearing, pop all of this new stuff on, and worry about an axe and a shovel later, because right now it's time to lose all of this in lava in the Nether. The first thing we're going to need to do is get ourselves right down to the bottom of the world. And here we go. We have reached bedrock. If I dig through here, we should end up, yep, in someone else's tunnel full of hoglins. Fantastic. And all I'm going to do is ignore those hoglins, just pop it down there and just send it on its merry little way through the Nether, chewing up all of the mighty netherrack. The mighty netherrack, I said. Thank you. Jeez. With my new incredible armor, I had absolutely no issues at all in the lava-swamped, hoglin-infested tunnels, and so my tunnel bore ran without issue as I stopped occasionally to gather any ancient debris it left in the walls and ceilings. And by the end of it, I had more ancient debris than I even needed. We've got a ton of basalt, a load of blackstone. Apparently, I've just set that to golden carrots. I didn't mean to do that. We've got even more basalt and blackstone. We've got loads of netherite. And as you can see from my hand, I'm holding a bunch of nether quartz and gold because that won't fit in my shiny chest because it's full of nether quartz and gold, as well as copper, zinc, flint, a bunch of other things, and 59 ancient debris. So now it's time to crush these ancient debris, and when I say crush them, I'm absolutely not going to crush them, because if I crush them, they will disappear. Of course, I need to blast them. With all of the new resources squirreled away into my storage system and the ancient debris smelted into netherite scrap, I was ready to craft up my first netherite. We can make 14 netherite. That's amazing. We need 1 block. There we go. So we've got enough for our jetpack plus 3 spare. And now I need a way of actually finding those echo shards. Of course, that meant finding another ancient city. But as luck would have it, the only other one in the area had also been looted by the other server members. And that literally means the only thing I can do is go and find a completely new ancient city. However, that wasn't strictly true, as I just happened to bump into Mr. Beardstone while I was prepping for my new adventure. I heard someone fly. Miss Beardstone?
Where are you?
Miss Beardstone?
Yes. Where are you?
I'm by your front door, sir.
Oh.
Ow.
Hello.
I'm having a bit of a problem. I need echo shards.
Oh, right. Okay.
And all of the ancient cities have been depleted.
Oh.
Yeah.
How many do you need?
2.
I thought that might be the case. I believe I have 4. Let me check.
Ooh, Mr. Beardstone, you're saving me an awful lot of work, sir. Thank you very much.
I do. I have 4.
I will pay.
No, it's fine. Because when me and Chosen went into the second city, like, we made sure that we both had enough to give someone else 2 echo shards.
Brilliant. Okay, good.
Because we know that they're rare. So that's for your builder's jetpack, I assume.
It is. That is the last ingredient I need. I have everything else.
Nice. Oh, so you got all the netherite?
Yeah, I got the netherite, yeah.
You went into the scary nether?
I did. I mined most of it away. The nether is gone, Mr. Beardstone.
Right, okay. Good to know.
Thanks to Mr. Beardstone's unusual bout of generosity, I now had all the ingredients I needed. And that should mean I can craft the jetpack. I can. And I should be able to craft a reasonable amount of fuel as well. I've got over 2 stacks of fuel from that. So let's just pop those bits back in there. Don't need those. And let's see how good this amazing builder's jetpack is. So now that we're safely outside, I shall wear the jetpack. In order to activate it, I need to crouch and jump at the same time. And I am floating. And this is it, guys. This is as good as it gets. It is basically just creative mode flight, but incredibly slowly. This is the fastest I can go. I can go down, I can go up, and that's literally it. And you'll see by the fuel status, I've already gone through 1 fuel, literally just doing that clip. It goes down incredibly quickly. Miss Beardstone! Miss Beardstone! Miss Beardstone!
Oh, Foxy's back.
I'm here. Where are you?
I'm in my house.
In your house? Oh yes, I can see.
Oh, look at you go.
Look at me go. Where are you? I'm sure I just saw you.
I'm literally below you.
Oh. Yeah. I've used 4 fuel just looking for you.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Let's have a look then.
Yeah.
Turn around.
Look at me.
That is horrific.
It is horrific. It is literally the worst jetpack in the game, which is the only reason that Mr. Beardstone would let me have it in the pack, because this is supposed to be just create, and I insisted with tears.
You did. There was so much crying.
Tables.
So much crying and table flipping.
But now, Mr. Beardstone, look at me go. This top speed, look at me go.
How much is that costing you?
Many. Very, very many.
What is that you hold? Is that the fuel?
This is fuel, yes. Would you like to see a fuel?
It looks like I'm not going to say it.
Don't say what it looks like. Now that I had everything I needed, it was finally time to make my island fly, and with no more distractions on the horizon, I got stuck in by completely demolishing my current island in order to gather most of the resources I needed for the schematic cannon. One thing I noticed while I was doing all that is that this bee is completely glitched out. It is dead. I don't know what's happening with this bee. I've purposely left its hive on its own because, well, I didn't want to disturb it, but yes, this bee is broken. So, oh, there we go. Now it's in there. Can I still touch this without the bee getting upset? I can. With the bee now safe and squirreled away into my storage system, I surrounded the schematic cannon with chests full of all of the resources I'd just gathered, as well as quite a few more from my storage system. So looking at this list, it seems to be that the only things I'm missing really are the bits for the elevator, which we don't need, and the bits that cover up the tree farm, which of course isn't going to be up there. So other than a little bit of coarse dirt and 3,400 normal dirt, I think we're about there. How much have I got? Ah, 4,400. That's perfect. If I take 1,700 at a time, that should just about fill this barrel. There we go. Now I can fill this double chest. That's another double chest worth of dirt. Is that enough? No, it can't actually see in this chest because it's not next. Oh, it's not close enough. So how am I supposed to do it close enough? Can I put it like there? Will it recognize that? No, it won't. Oh dear. So what if I put it on top of it and put that chest down there instead? Can you detect that? It can. So it can see things directly below it, which means I think that is pretty much everything we need to build this island. So all I've got to do is just get all of these chests up there. And there's a nice easy way of doing that. First of all, I just need to glue them all together. Let's pop a rail down there, pop that on there, put a minecart down there, and then I just need a block. I suppose we can use glass just to glue all of that together. Did it do the cannon as well? It's very difficult to see from here. Yes, it did. Excellent. Good. So I can get rid of that, get rid of that. And now we've got all of those items. I just need to take them upstairs. There we go. Everything's where it needs to be. Put the cart assembler down there. That is now all existing in the world again. Everything looks good. So let's hit the go button and build an island. The cannon sprung immediately into life, splurting out blocks left, right, and center, building up my island just as I'd remembered it, one layer at a time. Of course, it can't actually cannon water, so I needed to add that in manually before my farmland all dried out. And apparently it's not very good at planting crops either, so I needed to do that too. But after not very long at all, it was kind of finished. Clearly, there's a lot of tidying up to do with it. We can't just leave the bottom like this. Obviously, all the farmland that was underwater is no longer farmland, and the bottom of it is a horrendous mess, which is exactly why we made that jetpack. But in terms of the island existing, I think it's exactly as we left it, pretty much. There's really not that much difference, although there is a significant lack of animals in all of these pens. And getting them up here could be tricky, because at the moment, they're all literally right down there. Oh, geez. How am I going to get those up there? That is not going to be easy, but it's something we'll have to accomplish later on. First of all, I need to get rid of all of this sand that got dropped from the island as it was placed. Oh, and I spy a wandering trader. What have you got for sale, sir? I know Stam is very much interested in having some small drip leaves, so do you have any of those? Not that I've got anything to buy them from you with. Yes. I better go and get some emeralds quickly before he disappears so that I can get those for Stam. Quick before he flies away. Flies? Yeah, before the wandering trader flies away. And here we go, trading man. I need those, please. Oh, I can get a whole 10 of them. Aren't you generous, sir? Sea pickles might not be a bad idea either. I haven't got any of those. Vines might be. I haven't got any vines, and I don't think I've got any cactus, and I don't think I've got any ice. There we go. Oh, what a good day we've had doing all that trading, sir. Well done. Right, anyway, I need to get this island sorted out. Now, some interesting things do happen when you schematic cannon things into the world. One of those being that campfires don't actually have any smoke. When you campfire books into the world, it just totally breaks. And you'll also notice that my beehive that got schematiced in isn't doing any bee things. See, it should have a bee in it, but I'm not 100% sure it has. And it also seems I didn't give this thing enough ladders. I'm also slightly concerned that my crops aren't going to... Oh, no, they are. The crops are growing. That's good. And of course, if I'm going to connect my elevator elevator up here rather than downstairs, I'm going to need power up here. And that could be a problem. However, in this barrel, or in fact no longer in this barrel, but remember my IOU sign contraption with the big windmill on there? Yeah, well, I'm thinking that's going to be this island's engine horizontally below the island, making the whole thing look like it's just propellering the whole thing up. So yeah, I really do have a lot of work to do. But before I could do any work, Stam called, asking for those drip leaves. You needed small drip leaves?
Yes?
Follow me. I bought them for you, so you owe me a stack of emeralds.
What?
The trade is gone now. You were too slow, so I had to do emergency buying. I put them up on my island.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not finished.
Up here?
Well, it was sinking, Stam, so I had to save it.
Okay.
So, it's not finished. It's nearly finished, but it's not. It obviously needs a lot of work underneath it. But yeah, if you look in there, I got you 10 small drip leaves.
Wow.
Yeah. So
thank you, Foxy.
You're welcome.
What do you want for those?
Can I just a stack of emeralds, please? In fact, unless you've got, see, I need a silk touch book, and I need a mending book, and I think that's about. Oh, I could do with efficiency.
I don't have any books, but I do have a stack of emeralds.
Oh, perfect. That's great. I'm gonna go and see your villagers now.
Do you have a silk touch pickaxe?
Yeah, I've got pickaxe. It's the I just want to put it on my axe because I keep breaking things with my axe, and I like it to be silk touched.
Could you break my ender chest?
Yeah. There you go, bud.
Thank you.
I haven't even got an ender chest yet.
Nope.
Now it was time to get to work, but for that I needed more materials. One of those being moss that I'd use to make mossy cobblestone, and then actual cobblestone to smelt some of which into normal stone. With the majority of my resources ready, I donned my jetpack and began a process that would take me over 5 real-life hours. And I started by tidying up the edges of the island with a little dirt, creating a more natural shape and helping to smooth off the edges, which would later make building the underside of the island slightly easier. I then tidied up the front of the island, fixing up the farmland, added in some crops, grass, ferns, and a bit of coarse and rooted dirt, and then it was time to go under the island to start working on the main structure. Obviously, if this was going to be a floating island, then it needed to look like one. I was going for one of those generic fantasy-esque floating islands, the sort of floating island you might see in a book with pictures, or that you might see in a movie about floating islands that look a little bit like this one. Basically the same style that every other Minecraft YouTuber has probably made 100 times. But this was my first time, and with a gradient of stone types coming down to form a single elongated point, I wanted my Sky Island to be epic. So I created a basic shape using some cobble and then began working down layer by layer, following the shape, using a bit of mossy cobblestone to help blend the greens of the surface into cobblestone, then into turf, then andesites, and then finally stone. It turned out, however, that creating this chaotic spiky inverted pyramid of rock was actually quite hard, even with a jetpack. So I decided it would be much easier to create layers of dirt on the inside of the island to give me a template of where to add blocks on the outside. And this new method of building did work. And while it might look like I was just placing blocks completely randomly, there was actually a little method to my madness, as we'll get to later. Before that, however, I'd already just about run out of cobblestone, so after another quick trip down the mines, I continued adding in all of those stone layers underneath the island, adding dirt and grass on the inside to make templates, adding even more stone types on the outside, and then on the inside, and then the outside, until eventually I reached the bottom of the cone. With the majority of the stone now in place, I had the opportunity to step back, looking for areas that didn't fit the overall shape, and then added a few more blocks. I fleshed them out until I was completely happy with them. And once that was done, obviously this incredibly cubic mess of grey blocks needed detail, which would now come in droves. I desperately needed to add some life, colour, and more importantly texture to this rocky grey blob. So I gathered some leaves, built a very temporary vine farm without many vines on it, and then I took a moment to clean up the mess of podzol that was still on the surface. Back under the island, I started placing rooted dirt, placing it closer to the mossy cobble blocks as if the moisture from this dirt was affecting them somehow. And with a bit of bone meal, I was able to add quite a lot of texture by growing roots from the underside of the rooted dirt blocks. I then fleshed those out with some coarse dirt, adding a little colour variation and attempting to make the underside of the island feel more natural and alive. And then, after a quick restock from my shulker boxes, great. I took a few minutes to fix my lovely new hole, added in a little more temporary lighting around the dark spots of the island, and continued my quest for nature on the underside. The next step of detailing was to add in some leaves with what few vines I had. I placed them mainly around the dirt patches I'd created, again trying to add the idea that the underside of the island was alive, growing down like vines where the rock was a little more damp. And once the leaves were in place, it was time to break out the stairs and slabs to help blend all of these more natural blocks together. Once again, starting at the top, I rotated around the island, placing mossy cobblestone and cobblestone stairs where I thought they help improve the gradients and shapes. Then I moved on to slabs, which helped to add some depth to the more flat areas of the underside, and then I continued all of that again with the tuff, the andesite and stone until I reached the very bottom. The problem I faced now was that there was so much detail at the top of the underside of the island that the pokey andesite stony bit at the bottom was looking just a little bit bland. The other issue was that without my brightness turned up to 1000, it was also very dark. So I set up a quick glow lichen farm, filled it with bone meal and spent some time gathering a whole bunch of it. And with stacks of the stuff now on hand, I whizzed round placing them all over the place. Not only adding a little light to the darker areas, but also adding in some much needed texture as well as helping the dirt on top of the island blend better into the cobblestone layers directly below it. This really did help bring the underside of the island more to life, creating a natural blend of blocks that I was hoping for. However, I still thought it could do with more light, so I threw the rulebook out of the window and added in a whole bunch of hanging lanterns. Supported by spruce fence posts at varying heights all around the underside of the island, it might not be a common thing to do for a sky island, but combined with the brown of the hanging roots, the green of the leaves and the hanging vines, I absolutely love them. There we go. The island is just about finished. Not that you can really see a great deal from this angle, so let's hop into free cam rather than wasting any more of my fuel and take a look at this thing. I think it looks pretty good. I love the little lanterns that are dropping down from below, making the whole thing feel a little bit more intentional. It's definitely got plenty of greenery and roots and different colors and variation to make it seem like it's not just all plain and boring, and it comes down to a reasonable little point at the bottom, but of course this island wouldn't just be floating there. We need to make it float, and I have the perfect thing to do that. For those of you that know, you already know. Okay, let's pop down some rail, put down my cart assembler, turn that onto lock rotation, and then we'll pop down the minecart contraption, which is, oh geez, my IOU sign. There it is. I don't need the bottom bit anymore. That can all go, but I do want the windmill, which is now going to be a propeller. So basically what I'm going to have to do is disconnect that from all of that, turn it on its side, and then this is going to spin round at the bottom of there, not only making it look like it's floating, but also providing power, because we're going to need power for our elevator. So let's just have a look at the glue situation that's going on. Oh my goodness me. We basically don't want it connected to any of this stuff down here. So let's just unglue all of that. Let's unglue those bits there. And that should just be the propellers on their own, which means if I get rid of these supports, because we don't need these anymore. So let's just stick a mechanical bearing on there. Put my valve on there. I want to set that to 90 degrees, and I want to set this to always place when stopped. Now, I'm a little bit concerned that this is all going to fall to bits, so I'm going to put only place when near initial angle to start with and just test this. Yes, the entire thing does turn. That's how it's going to look. And yeah, all of the fences are going to get totally broken by this when it turns, but let's just do it and see what happens. What could possibly go wrong? And there we go. We've turned it. The fences have gone a bit wangy, but that's fine. It's absolutely fine. Everything else looks great on it. So now we have that part of the contraption, which we now need to make into a new contraption. And after turning it into a contraption, I got it into place below the island and then played a little game of impromptu wipeout. Okay, I have the windmill bearings. Just hop back down here, pop one onto there. Make sure this isn't glued to this anymore. That should be okay. And see if that turns. It does. Excellent. Now I want a windmill bearing on there. Let's see if that turns. It does, but we do want them going in opposite directions. So there we go. We can do that. And now hopefully, if I put a vertical gearbox between them, that works. Excellent. Wow. Uh-oh. Okay. We're doing total wipeout then, I guess. Let's just turn that into a vertical one. I need to get on the thing. Stop it. No, I need to get back on there. There we go. Let's shove that through there a little bit. Now I need to get above it all. There should be a bit of shaft sticking out of the top somewhere. Where is it? There it is. Look. So we just need to... Oh, jeez. This would be a lot easier if I hadn't started it moving. But yeah, if we replace that shaft there with the gearbox, turn that into a vertical one, and then another gearbox there, turn that into a vertical one, and spin it round, which I can't do. I'm going to have to go back up from the top. There it is. We should, if I spin this round, be able to get both windmills' power through this gearbox, which it looks like we are. So now all I've got to do is attach shafts to this and then eventually make it go a little bit faster. So we now have power from our windmill, which also kind of a bit makes it look like this entire thing is kind of flying. It's a bit small, if I'm being honest with you. That needs to be way, way bigger. But for now, that's what we've got, and that's what we're going to do. With my tiny propeller power system now in place, I took some time to demolish the no longer required AO Union sign, and even got my workshop elevator connected all the way up to the dirt house at the top of the Sky Island. Come on, elevator. Yay, it worked! Press the button. Pressing the button does absolutely nothing. 2. Here we go. We are going up to the Sky Island. It's working. Oh, this is amazing. All the way to my house. That's great. Now, I do need another redstone contact in the basement below here. And maybe that button doesn't work because it's on the wall rather than on the thing. So let's just put a bit of andesite in there and put the button on there. And that should work now. It does. Excellent. Before it gets here, let's just pop in here. And I just need another elevator contact, probably round about there-ish. Let's throw a button on that so we can call it back. Call that to there, see where it actually stops. And it stops. That's not too big, that's okay. We can work with that in here and make this a little useful basement at some point in the future. So now we can literally go all the way up to the Sky Island. This is amazing. Send it back down a minute. We'll just rename this one. And now when I look at this, we've got Sky Island, Sky Basement. We need to make the one below this, the overworld, and then the one below that actual basement. Put the button on there, and now we have, apart from my mining levels, sub-workshop, workshop, lake, Sky Basement, and Sky Island. Let's go all the way up to the Sky Island. It takes a minute, but it's a long way up. I need to fix this door and have a sleep, apparently. And there we go. We have an absolutely wonderful Sky Island in the sky. With everything pretty much nearing on completion for my starter base, I was now focused on the last job, which was how I was going to transport all of my farm animals up to their new pens on the Sky Island. Now, realistically, all I need to do is take 2 of each type of animal, take them up there with my jetpack and breed them. But that's not much fun. So I'm thinking what I actually want to do is build like a crane with a big sort of elevating platform on it that hangs off the side of the island. Just sort of here where my temporary vine farm is, hanging off the side there and reaching all the way down to the lake. And rather than trying to talk you guys through it and getting all confused with what I'm doing because I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just going to, do another replay. Sorry about that, guys, but it's the best I could do. go. I made it, and I think it's quite fancy. Obviously, the base is very basic with just the spruce, but everything else going on I think is quite interesting. I've tried to make it as steampunky as possible. Basically, we've got some power coming up from below the basement, which is just going through another speed controller to make sure it's not too fast. This is coming up to this chain drive here, coming across from there, and that chain drive is connected to this chain drive. But this chain drive isn't actually connected to any of this. This is just an entity now because it's been spun round in order to get the angle on it. Therefore, all of these cogs and things don't actually do anything apart from the ones connected to this chain drive, which are that crushing wheel, this wheel, and that crushing wheel there. But these do look like they're going a little bit fast, but that's because they're connected to the chain conveyor, which needs to go at the speed it's going because it already takes way too long for this to get down. The actual carriage part itself, I think, is quite interesting. I tried to keep it with the steampunky vibe with all of the cogs and things to make it look more interesting, and it works. So let's take a ride in my brand new elevator, which of course there's nowhere to actually get out of at the moment, because I'm imagining if this crane actually worked, what would happen is if it would bring it to the top, then spin it round and probably plonk it down onto some actual ground. So for me, obviously when I get up here, I'm not actually going to be able to get the animals out without just falling down that hole there, which could be a little bit tricky, but we'll worry about that later. Let's just go and see if we can actually get some animals in this thing. And here we go. There I go, going down in the quite slow craney elevator thing, but it's working and I'm very happy with it. Even it is quite clunky, but I'm very happy with it. Hello animals, I have your transportation system. Oh geez, no, don't blow up my animals, please. There we go, got them. Right, okay animals, let's see if this actually works. Which animals do I care about the least? Let's put my jetpack on to make it easy to get them. I'm going to say this cow. You are my test subject. Let's get you, shove you into this new contraption-y thing. I can't actually put you down. Oh, I forgot about that. Because this is technically an entity, I can't actually drop the cow to put him in, which means I'm actually going to need to lead them over, which is quite annoying. Now, if I'd put seats on it, I could have, of course, used the lead to attach the cow to the seat, but hopefully cow can get on here. Cow can get on. That's very good. Let's get rid of you. Let's go and get you a friend, Mr. Cow. And hopefully now that we have a cow on there, if I grab this cow here and just click on that cow, they should stack. They do. Now let's see how you get on the elevator. Are you going to fall through? Oh dear. Well, the other one fell through, but this one seems to be okay. So excited about going upstairs, you just can't keep still. Please don't fall through the floor. This is why I've got it going slowly, cow. Oh, he's back. Oh, that's good. Excellent. They did both get here. It was just interesting how they did. Right, so now I've got my cow. I can very, very slowly jetpack over to the cow pen, deposit first cow, and then go and get second cow. Wow, I'm going to have this done in no time. And no time flew by like a snail in a headwind wading through treacle. But eventually all of the animals were safely back in their pens, and so I spent a little time just tidying up the island, adding some bushes, making the paths, adding grass and ferns, and even a few more lanterns. And so finally, after all of that combined hard work, the island was complete. And in my opinion, it was wonderful. As long as you don't look at the ever-growing vines that were now almost touching the lake. Oh, geez, I'm gonna need a lot of string.